most medical research findings are false.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we unpack that? Because most people, when they go to their doctors, they look to their doctors as if they're some almost like deities to a certain extent, unerring. We trust our health to them, and we just assume that everything they conclude and write about is gospel.
Well, I think if we start from a position of, first of all, addressing this socio-cultural problem where many people believe incorrectly, including doctors, by the way, that medicine is an exact science like, say, physics or chemistry. And it's not. It never has been. It's an applied science. It's a science of human beings. It's a social science. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing as new information emerges. So if we start from that position, a lot of the way we make diagnosis or the way that we come to conclusions about what's at the root cause of a particular patient's presentation of symptoms or disease is it's the art of probabilities based upon information that we gather over time. So if we start from that place, then it's easier to unpack why Ioannidis would say most research published findings are false, because most of that research now is funded, analyzed, produced by drug companies who have a very specific legal obligation to produce profit for their shareholders and not to give you the best treatment. Although we would believe, many people would believe that would be the case. And in that process, what they do invariably when they draw their conclusions, which are published in these journals like The Lancet or the New England Journal of Medicine, is that almost always they will exaggerate the safety and benefits of their products in order to sell them. So that is how that concept is best understood. And one of the other things that John Ioannidis does, and he's also a mathematical genius. I think he got the national award in Greece for mathematics, actually. That's where he trained originally, and he went to medical school there. He also says, through his mathematical modeling analysis of trying to figure out what's reliable and what's not, or what is less reliable, he says the greater the financial interests or other prejudices in a given field, the less likely the research findings are to be true. Which is very interesting because, I know you, Brian, come from a kind of engineering and also a banking background, right? So if people think of technology and all the advancements that we've made in technology, which have been phenomenal in the last several hundred years, but certainly in the last few decades, we cannot apply that to medicine. But people do. They think that if it's an expensive drug, it must be really effective. But actually what I do and what a lot of the people in this space are trying to do is to try and say, listen, let's first and foremost understand what is the reliability of these research findings. What kind of data are we using here to make these conclusions? Ideally, we call it the hierarchy of evidence-based medicine tells us that the double-blinded randomized control trial is the highest quality level of evidence. But you actually ideally shouldn't be relying on one trial. You certainly shouldn't be you should be skeptical if it's sponsored by the drug industry, and then has it been replicated? And often the approval process doesn't allow us to get to a greater truth to understand that this information that we're getting, even from a randomized control trial, is reliable. And then is, okay, once we know there are limitations, which we should tell patients, right? That's part of actually the best way to practice medicine, is to also discuss uncertainties about anything you're telling a patient. Again, most doctors probably don't do this, we know that. So for me, I'm trying to be the best possible doctor I can be for my patients by understanding the information I'm using to the best level so that I can communicate that to patients in a way that they can understand, right? So for example, we look at statin drugs, one of the most prescribed lucrative drugs in the history of medicine, cholesterol-lowering drugs, estimated to be prescribed to up to maybe 1 billion people in the world, right? And we know that most people taking statins don't receive any benefit because the trials conducted by industry show that if you haven't had a heart attack, and these are most people who are prescribed statins, your absolute benefit of a statin at best over a 5-year period is 1 in 100 in preventing a non-fatal heart attack or non-disabling stroke. Yet most patients don't know this. Most doctors may not know it, and then they don't communicate it to patients. So we've got this biased decision-making process going on, which ultimately leads to an over-medicated population, Right. And really, once people understand that, everything else starts to fall into place. Or certainly they can then trace the roots of why we are where we are right now. To the extent where one estimate suggests the third most common cause of death after heart disease and cancer globally is prescribed medications, what your doctor prescribes for you.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.